All right. We did do another post as well. It was our Now Hear This post. And this was actually an article from US News and World Report for 2023. So this just came out. And they talk about how diets that lower blood pressure, well, we know that they're often discussed in this community. We actually just had a challenge on your page, Aortic Health Unlimited on Facebook. It became a very challenging post, unfortunately, for a variety of reasons. But the question was, because what you do on your page that's really interesting, and I want to have you have a chance to really talk about what you do day in and day out, other than bust your butt to help the community too. But what you do on your page that's different is not only do you share everything, you're like the central 411 hub of the community, is when you ask questions every day, they can be, they run the gamut from what's your favorite ice cream to what y'all feel like when your head itches. You ask just so many crazy questions. Y'all, I can't sleep because my toes twitching. What do you think? What do you think about toe twitches? You know what I mean? And I love that because I lay there and I'm like, I think my toe twitches too. Maybe I should look that up. That's me Googling toe twitching post dissection. Okay.
And that is what's so amazing is that you're not alone. You find out, oh, it's not me. Now, there's one thing that did disturb me was on the response where this one woman had responded and somebody had answered back, and why does that bother you? Or what are you scared of? And I just want to let everybody, for one thing, I don't matter.
Go back, repeat the question, what the question was.
I don't have it right in front of me, but
it was something to do with a dissection or an aneurysm size. And I think this person was talking about feeling fearful, right?
Exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That somebody responded, well, what are you scared of? I'd want to say this, and this is to everybody on any page you respond to please be considerate of what the other person's going to, and remember, you know, that person is in need or of advice. And sometimes if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. Or if you can't say something without always hollering or being expressive. I did have to get on to somebody. I did not like all the challenges. Well, can you show me anything scientific and stuff?
Right.
That makes people scared to say anything, open their mouth, because of people putting you down for what you think or for asking the question like you're stupid. Can I say that?
Let's put it in context. So for this particular question, which was this post, I think you had asked something about, do any of you eat or like certain foods, and does it help with your blood pressure? It was something like that. It was a benign question. Yeah. Okay, benign. And the reality is if salt can increase blood pressure because it's making you retain water, so your body works harder to get rid of it, right? Then not eating salt can help. So that clearly proves right there in itself that certain foods and additives can affect your bodily function. That's it. That's what you needed. So other people are sitting there saying, oh, well, I eat a lot of beets in my diet and my blood pressure's low. Okay. Whatever works for you is when nobody was saying, okay, everybody, I'm telling you, you all need to ignore your doctors and go eat a beet. Eat some beets.
Exactly.
Go eat some beets. Because one, it may not lower your blood pressure because you're different. Two, you may hate beets. And three, you should never take anything that you're not used to taking without clearing it with your doctor, especially a supplement or a vitamin. Okay. Because supplements, you know, some of them can reduce the effectiveness of our actual medications. So before we talk about this article, what happened was that there are people who are very passionate about their medical background, even if it was a prior job, and are concerned, rightfully so, that there are some people that will read advice and take it wholeheartedly and just go implement it without thinking. Just as there's people that give advice without thinking to say, now that I've shared this, go talk to your doctor. So one, when you type in all caps, what does that mean, Diane?
Seems like you're hollering or expressing some type of anger.
You are 100%. So
Yeah.
don't type in all caps unless you want people to jump down your throat for yelling at other people. So
Right.
stupid, these rules of engagement. But we all need to take it down a little bit and remember that these are people just sharing their personal experiences, even if
Exactly.
scientifically no one can prove why the beat made their blood pressure go down. It could have been anything. It could have been
Right.
preparation. It could have been your medicine's working well. Nobody will ever know. Not purely just a suggestion.
Yes, and we don't know the
Until
person's history, but
right,
that was a crazy I think can I say a week of it? It was so
it
crazy.
was.
And it could happen on anybody's page or for anything. And that, for everybody, any advice that or anything that we say, please know that we are not medical/professional or your doctor.
Mhm.
You should always consult your doctor. And
Right.
we are all patients here, victims, survivor, caretakers, and we just like to be able to banter and give each other's opinion and reach out and help each other's out. But when you come out in an aggressive manner, that would tend to push people away.
Exactly. And the other point is there was another post that came out where somebody was talking about their spouse who was like, I think 35. I could be getting the details wrong, which would probably be better that I do. Talking about their spouse, young spouse who had a spontaneous dissection with no known medical reason why, is how it was raised. Nobody bothered to ask, did this person have an aneurysm? But even if they had and the answer was known, we know dissections can happen without an aneurysm present.
Hmm?
And then somebody said, got the COVID vaccine. And I said, that is all. This is going to turn into a massive, massive deluge of hideousness that's going to come in now. So, yeah, you're not going to have a spontaneous dissection because you had a vaccine. While I will say for the record that I'm not a medical professional and I can't say that with 1000% certainty, I can say that you will potentially be at risk for health issues without it than you will with it unless you're allergic to chemical compounds in the vaccine. Then you wouldn't be taking it anyway. And the point of the matter was she needed to have genetic testing if she has kids or this spouse has siblings or parents that are still alive. Like if you want to know why, go there. But at some point, you're going to stop wondering why. And you should put that energy towards let me follow the recommendations and let me live my very, very
Right.
best life. Because you
Hmm.
will put yourself in prison waiting to find out the answer because you know what's going to happen when you know the answer and you realize you still couldn't control it because it's in the past, but you can control the future to the best that you can control it. So all this infighting started happening and it was yeah. But let's get
Yes.
back to the diet. So, diets that lower blood pressure are often discussed in the community. They're often argued about, and people like to talk in caps. So, there. But in the article, The DASH Diet, which cardiologist Stacy Fisher, who we've interviewed many times before, who's now with Johns Hopkins, highly recommended that and the Mediterranean. But the DASH diet in US News and World Report, they reminded us that the first multi-center, I'm going to be able to speak today, multi-center trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 1997 demonstrated the positive impact a healthy diet can have on people's blood pressures. The study evaluated the effect of the diet on hypertension in 459 adults and found that those who ate more fruits, vegetables, and low fat dairy products and reduced their saturated and total fat consumption achieved significantly lower blood pressures compared to those who followed the average diet in the US. And the DASH diet, just so everybody knows, has nothing to do with Mrs. Dash. It's nothing to do with that. It actually stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. That's what DASH stands for. It's often shared by cardiologists because it's very flexible, balanced, and heart healthy eating plan. It's promoted by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute to do that, stop or prevent hypertension. So there is a link to that article. And the key with the DASH diet is it's not a fad. It's not there to help you lose weight. It's there to help you have a new way of eating. It's just a new way of eating with more balanced fruits, vegetables, lower saturated fats, better good fats, because as the dash is described, it is the dietary approach to stop hypertension. So who in this community wouldn't want to eat foods that has a dietary approach to stop hypertension that's been scientifically proven to work?
Mhm.
Right? Don't you want to go dash to the grocery store? Zoom. So next week or over the next couple weeks, we'll talk about the Mediterranean diet, which is similar, although it gives you a little bit more specifics of foods, because in the Mediterranean diet tends to be comprised more of like olive oils and a lot more fish and more organic, lighter foods, some chicken. But nowhere does it say don't eat red meat. Nowhere does it say you can't have a pizza, a slice of pizza.
Mhm.
I mean, we're not talking about you know, eliminating foods. We're talking about using common sense and reducing those bad foods and increasing the good foods. But I'm not eating a beet. I'm not eating a Brussels sprout. It's not happening.
Nope. I'm not
Oh,
much of a vegetable person, but I do love my fruits, hon.
I know.
Yep, yep, yep. Fruit, fruit.
So it's called a diet, but it really isn't. It's more of a healthier way of living. And it was on one of the top lists starting off 2023.
Mhm.
Now hear
Right.
this. All right, let's get into Research Study Sunday. So there's many different ways that community members can help the community if they're interested. I get asked often, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? If you don't have time to be able to volunteer and take on a specific task that any of the nonprofit organizations need, then there's other things that you can do where you're participating. And so uh, being part of a research study is one of them. And so we asked everybody to kind of check out this current randomized clinical trial studying the mental and physical benefit of exercise for people who survived an aortic dissection. And this is actually being brought to you by the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, specifically out of Texas. And as it says here, if you have a history of aortic dissection, are you looking to get active and engage in regular physical activity in a safe, supportive way, then this study is for you. And compensation is available for each person that comes into this study. So they are looking for people who have had a type A or type B aortic dissection at least 3 months ago. It does not matter if you've had aortic surgery or not, but you have to be able to attend in person, and that means going to Texas. And you have to be able to attend their exercise training program. And you have to own or have regular access to a treadmill and exercise bike. So the time commitment that's involved for this really fun, very important study is that the whole study runs for 12 months. But you personally only need to attend 2 in-person sessions and 1 exercise training session at the UT Professional Building, which is in Houston, Texas. So that's all that's required of you. And you have to participate in an exercise group, and they have 3 virtual sessions, and you can do that from home. So they are asking people to wear a 24-hour blood pressure monitor at the beginning, at the end of the study. They are going to be measuring your heart rate and your grip strength. And then they're going to ask you to complete an online questionnaire and exercise for a minimum of 150 minutes a week. It's a week, just a week, 3 hours a week, little less than 3 hours a week. So yeah, so if you're interested in this, there's a link, the QR code, all the information is here. And the reason this is being done, and I know that this is being done across other places, but this we received this specifically from Dr. Prakash, who helps us with our Ask a Doctor events. We're actually going to have one this Thursday. But the reason this is being done is because you're asked all the time, like, what can I do? What kind of exercise? Can I lift weights? We may have all had a dissection, but we've all responded differently. So
Mhm.
we're trying to see, is there a way to standardize this? So what's your thoughts on this, Diane?
Think it's a good thing that what they're doing now. Some places, and I'm sure this one does too. Do they not pay for your gas and give
They
you some kind of
they're going to give
compensation?
you compensation for going, but
Uh
you
huh.
have to be able to get yourself down there for the 2 visits. Everything else sounds like it's virtual. So if you're willing to head on down to Houston, I mean, they will end up compensating you. How much, I do not know, but you can call. There's a number on there, and
Yeah.
ask all those questions. And uh, because at the end of the day, you're really helping determine, is there a way that we can have an across the board,
Right.
uh, exercise recommendation, I outline or guideline. So
Hmm.
yes, so that is that.